Hello everybody, welcome to GT Time. I'm your moderator Kyle Bossman, and joining us as always is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including Brad Ellis in the Brandon Jones seat.
Hello.
Daniel Bloodworth.
Hey.
In the super seat this week, Matt Blair.
Good to be back.
And making this all happen, Ian Hink.
Hi.
Hey everybody. So, Matt Blair.
Yes?
You in the super seat. You are the final person to answer this question. What is your favorite E3 memory?
It's funny now because you started asking these before this E3 happened.
Yeah.
I don't remember past E3s anymore. It is just Shenmue. It's just Shenmue. I mean, it eclipses everything else. And as a matter of fact, we've all seen Huber's reaction tape to it. While that was happening, I'm sitting over at my desk.
20 yards away.
Yeah, far enough away that I couldn't run to celebrate with Huber, unfortunately. But when it did happen, I did throw my hands up. And for those that sit at the desks we do, we have these weird storage cubbies above us. Mm-hmm. So I smacked that and almost broke my arm on the corner of it. I didn't feel it until a couple hours later, but it was a nice physical memory attached to the to everything else.
We work in an office with a bunch of other normal people who weren't also streaming that at the moment.
I scared a lot of people.
Like, were you shouting and yelling?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. I screamed. It's like, oh my god! It was really fucking.
Yeah, and me and Matt were the only ones over in the office at that point.
Yeah.
I at least have an actual office to like hide my yelling a little bit, but he's out in the open.
Yeah.
So Matt, I assume you were actually watching the stream and not us watching the stream.
Correct. I was just doing the Sony stream.
I had enough. There was enough of a delay to where after I saw it happening, I switched over to the stream to watch you.
At what point, Blair, though, did you realize this is Shenmue 3?
Immediately. It was before the leaf even fell. The music started just before the leaf fell. And I lost it. The first note. I'm really good with music. Like, if I hear the first note, I know the rest of the song. That first note from the violin. Like,
just that.
Not quite.
And was that pitch perfect? Was that right? Was that the right note?
It was close.
No.
It was kind of close.
Oh my gosh.
Not even. But still, it was good.
And that is your favorite E3 memory of all time, of your whole life.
That's kind of the only one now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Only one.
But everything else is just E3. But Shenmue, for me, like it goes far beyond being professional. It goes far beyond being a spectator. Like that hits the heart of any Shenmue fan. Any Shenmue fan will know. Like if you've been a fan for over a decade or whatever the case may be, you just know. Like that's something that just elevates beyond it. Just the fact that it happened to happen at E3, that makes it an E3 memory, but it's just the Shenmue memory now.
Matt, you typically have one of the best answers of our rotations. Like,
really?
Yeah, you always bring it. You're like last in the rotation. You always bring a good. Like, didn't you have like a burrito? You put macaroni and cheese in once.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great answer. Yeah. He's good at that.
What was that? Was it like the buffalo chicken mac and cheese burrito or something?
Yeah,
like
it was some intense invention. It was pretty cool. We should move on to corrections though, please. So begin corrections music. Ooh, start a little deep into it.
Yeah. So there it is.
We had a lot of Call of Duty corrections last week. Ian, it is very loud.
Working on it.
Okay. The Black Ops 3 mini fridge, we said looked tiny. That thing actually holds 12 12-ounce cans.
How many bottles?
Well, let's
How many
think.
Mountain Dews?
So it'd probably be six bottles, right? If it holds 12 cans.
Presumably, if you stack them on top of each other, sure.
And then, so for just $200, you can have a little mini fridge like that. Call of Duty World at War did have a beta. I did not realize that. That's actually an interesting fact.
That was still kind of a while back. It still kind of speaks to the point, yeah.
Yeah, it's still a long time back, but it's interesting nonetheless. Black Ops 3, that beta is only a timed exclusive to PS4.
Right.
It's to be presumed that Xbox One and probably PC will get it eventually. Ken looks very different in Street Fighter V. Before we were talking about how Street Fighter V doesn't really change up the looks of characters, and then immediately after we stop recording is when we see Ken.
That was the same day, yeah.
Where he's like wearing a tight black t-shirt now, and he's got like floppy banana hair.
He had a couple of outfits, right?
Hair.
Just the one, just that one.
I thought he had a couple. Maybe the crazy effects that are going on changed it, and I saw a screenshot of it.
Oh yeah, because the top of his gi is like floating now behind him, like a little waist cape. Yep. And corrections music.
I like that. That was very Zelda-esque. Like I'm in town. I'm just talking to people.
It is Zelda-esque.
I'd never noticed that before, but now we hear it while we're talking. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm in town, buying some arrows, whatever.
Yeah, it's very much a shop type of song.
Hi. Okay.
Oh, no.
But this isn't necessarily corrections, but I do want to acknowledge that a lot of people were unhappy with the results of last week's bet, which was, of course, to start a match, initiate a online search in Rocket League. Ooh, we're losing monitors fast. And then to see how many seconds that would take from initiation to pressing acceleration in the match.
And you cheated.
Ian, you're the judge, man.
Hey,
The judge is
I'm
calling
a
you a cheater.
slave to the wording of the bet.
And that's what it was.
And
It came down to the wording.
I ruled on the wording, but like, you played dirty pool.
Scumbag.
No,
You played dirty pool, boss man.
I played dirty
Playing
pool
slop?
for sure, but before the show, we talked about how like it's going to be the first week, servers will be nuts. We did at least acknowledge that. Anyway, just for fun, just because
Nuts and down are kind of different things still.
well, like Brad clicked a button on like online match. You know what I mean? If you press X on online match, that's initiating the search. Anyway, sour grapes like Bloodworth has. Lots of people had them. Everyone had sour grapes. So here's what we did. Brad redid the test today. And it was, I think, 25 seconds.
25 seconds.
From initiation to like actually going within the match. What's really funny about that is that the way the bets worked out, let's see, we had the super seat, Huber bet 37 seconds, Jones bet 13. Those are both precisely 12 seconds away from the winning bet.
Whoa.
So we technically have like a tie.
Shootout.
of, like,
I think we got to go to the round up. Round up.
what do you mean round up?
We should round up.
Well, actually,
we have
We
a
did round up.
tiebreaker
It
on
was
this
it was
show.
it was 24.9. It was actually 24.9. So should we take that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
You're the judge.
Who wins?
That would be Jones.
He's so
No,
far
we
behind
can't- we
that it
can't
doesn't
have
matter.
that.
We should just.
So here's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe we give like Jones a star, and so the star just means if he's ever in a tiebreaker, the star puts him ahead.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
So his score would
he
be-
wins the next tie.
He's gonna be
Yeah.
mad about
He's
Sorry.
not gonna like that.
Who took it? Who
He's
took
not
it?
gonna
Huber.
like that.
Okay.
But let's give it. Let's give Jones
Super
3 and a
C.
star.
Okay.
Because I mean, technically, I still won the bet as it was worded, but I'd like to be a good sport and at least like have fun with the bets if that's what people
Yeah.
like, you know.
Or you know what
Wow.
you should do is detract 1 point from Jones. Make him earn it back.
He's so heartbroken. Okay, we should talk about video game news, huh? Let's do that. Let's get into the world of video game news. This week, officially, Kojima was removed from the box art of Metal Gear Solid 5. Not just his name, but also Kojima Productions. The logo has been removed, as
and
we
it's
can actually
about
see.
time.
Oh, Ian, don't even. What's your initial reaction to this panel?
Does there need to be drama around this? I feel like until they actually give us the explanation, we're just kind of up in the air. And the most reasonable explanation to me is that if Kojima's leaving, his name is the company. If he's going to found his own company, he needs the name Kojima Productions. So he's probably going to take that with him, right? If they take it off the box for Konami, they take it off the building for that building because they still pay the bills for that building. They're still paying to publish the game. If Kojima Production moves on and is not a part of Konami, then it probably shouldn't. I mean, they still made the game, so I understand when people say, like, seriously, though, why take it off the box art? Because they made the game. It's still his game. I get that. It does make sense. But them actually doing it and the reason behind it, I feel like... do we really think it's spiteful people at Konami being like, oh, he doesn't deserve his name on this box anymore? Like, do we really think there's not some explanation behind it that's like that?
The theory makes sense, but I don't think a corporation can legally own a person's name.
Yeah.
I'm not like they can like license your image, I think, but like he like doesn't cease being Kojima.
Yeah,
he
it's
can
not that
use
they
his own
own it.
name in the future.
It's not
Yeah.
that they own it, but it seems like it's almost coming from the Kojima direction instead of Konami. And I don't know if there's been any communication of clarification from Kojima's side about that.
There's not been one.
Yeah.
There probably
Ounce.
should be,
Sure.
at the very least, because that like this situation, if it's being caused by his end, he should probably clarify that because that's doing damage to Konami.
Yeah, Blood, I've heard you say that you think maybe Kojima just wants his name off the box.
Yeah, I think that there's a chance that there's something involved, that he had a falling out with them, and then he doesn't want his name on it for whatever reason. It's actually stranger to me that it's been removed from stuff in the past.
Yeah, that's what weirds it out for me too.
Yeah, like
newly
this,
printed boxes.
This it makes sense that like, okay, there's something in there that maybe he doesn't want to be associated with, and so he'll take his name off. But for him to have his name taken away from everything, like, I don't know, like that, maybe that's some kind of just lawyer wrangling.
Well,
I'm not sure.
If you're Kojima, and let's all pretend like we can be in his head for a minute and know what he's thinking,
Oh, it's nice in here.
right?
This is a great head to be in.
So creative.
Yeah.
Watching movies until 4 a.m. I love that man. Does this kind of like an aversion to typecasting, maybe? Maybe like he's done all he can with Metal Gear, and like, let's pretend like it's his decision. If he wants to move on to a new franchise, if he wants to move on to something new, does he just kind of be like, I don't need my name on all those boxes. I'm not the Metal Gear guy anymore. I want to do something new.
Man.
Yeah, if basically it came down to an argument over DLC.
I can't
could be.
I can't see that happening.
I know it's so weird. It's so weird, but I'm just trying to wrap my head around a logical explanation for this.
Yeah. It is like we have actually no new news with this, basically.
Right.
It's basically something that just like from what happened in April, it's just like the continuation of that.
I realize we're kicking a dead horse.
We're kicking a dead horse.
A dying horse, at least.
Brad, do you think this will affect your enjoyment of the game when you're playing it personally? The drama that's been around it. Can you like turn it off while you're actually playing Metal Gear
I can
Solid
turn
5?
it off easily. I mean, when I stop playing, and I'll look at the box and I'm like, God. But then I'll start playing again, just enjoying it.
That's refreshing to hear,
Yeah.
Brad. I'm glad that you can feel that way. I hope we all can. But yeah, I don't want to get too into the nitty gritty of that. Let's just move on.
Wait.
No way. We're going on to good news.
It looks like they just zoomed in the cover.
They did, yeah. This Big Boss's head is like bigger on
They
it.
just zoomed it in slightly.
And to be honest, I kind of like the framing more now. But that, I shouldn't even bring that up. Anyway, D23, which is basically Disney's Comic-Con, like Disney-only Comic-Con. Is that a fair way to describe that?
Sure.
Okay. They're going to have big game news this week. Let me get through it before we start talking about it. By their own words, never before seen gameplay, trailers, new reveals, and surprises from Disney Infinity 3.0, Star Wars Battlefront, and Kingdom Hearts 3.
There it is. There's the one.
You wanted that last one.
There it is.
Yeah, so Brad, that's actually really surprising to me that like Disney is embracing Kingdom Hearts 3.
It seems a lot more than previous ones.
Yeah,
Like,
why
it
do
seems
you-
like they're involved now a lot more. I don't know.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe new management, new ownership. Maybe Square Enix and Disney are just closer now, talking about everything.
Do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Disney is as much part of Kingdom Hearts as Square Enix is.
So, Brad, I was actually looking at tickets for D23 after reading the story. It's $75 for an adult. And this would be the only event that I would want to go to is this one gaming one. Do you think it's worth it? Do you think what they'll show will be substantial enough to be like, this is actually big game news?
For me? Yeah. For me.
What do you need to
Okay.
see from Kingdom Hearts 3?
Anything.
Oh, actually, they were even more specific. For Kingdom Hearts 3 in particular, Square Enix will also bring special guests and surprises.
Nomura.
Yeah, I doubt that. Really?
Just be like, walk out.
That to me would be huge. That would mean to me that Disney is finally like embracing games.
Yeah.
That's cool, right? They normally
they should.
typically don't.
Well, I mean, they did for a while, and then
What do you mean they did for a while?
I mean, they had a whole initiative where they were, getting big into the game space. They bought BlackRock Studios, I think it was, and they made Pure and Split Second, and then somebody new took over, and they're like, no, we're not going to do this kind of games anymore, and just basically fired everybody, and it seemed like they were going to just turn to like web-based and mobile-based games, and then somehow Infinity came out of this and like rejuvenated the direction, and it seems like everything else is sort of
They're partnerships.
piggybacking on that. Yeah.
They're partnerships. You're right on it. Like all of the new partnerships since then. You know,
Star
they're
Wars,
picking up
sure.
Marvel, Star Wars.
Yeah.
The partnership with Square Enix, just throw everything in there. Let's take a new view on everything. It's great actually, because now you're getting a lot more love from
Oh yeah.
both sides, not just Square honoring Disney, but now you got Disney honoring Square a little bit. It's cool.
It's very cool. That's encouraging.
Yeah.
Brad, what good do you think Disney can bring to Kingdom Hearts 3 with like increased involvement?
I don't know, like maybe, I don't know how hard it is to license some of the worlds or something like that, all the legal stuff. Maybe Disney's more involved with it. Like the whole Jungle Book fiasco of it not being in.
What is the Jungle Book fiasco?
So, Jungle Book was supposed to be in Birth by Sleep, but it got cut because I guess Disney or whoever lost the license to it.
Oh yeah, weren't we like not able
man.
to show that world in the review?
Right.
I think when we did Kingdom
No, we're
Hearts
not allowed
HD,
to-
we weren't
yeah,
allowed to
not
show the
allowed to show
Tarzan
that.
world. Like things like that
Are we
typical.
allowed
Yeah.
to talk about that?
Yeah,
I don't
they have the
even
Tarzan
remember that
license.
being a thing. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing they can do. Tarzan's not showing up in Kingdom Hearts 3. He's gone, man.
Yeah. But now they got those Disney bucks coming in.
Yeah.
Hopefully help out.
Yeah, because it was cool during E3. You know, they had that director from what is it?
Tangled.
Tangled, thank you. And he was just like, "Yeah, I'm involved with this. I'm looking at the art, and I'm like helping them out with
Yeah.
that." I can see that as like maybe too many cooks. You know, in some way.
It didn't seem like he was like actually getting
Yeah,
his hands dirty.
He's probably
Yeah.
just like looking over everything and be like, oh yeah, that's good.
The
Kinda thing like
cooperation
that.
of letting them in the studio, have some conversations and interviews with the people who made it and wrote it, directed it, and just be like, "Hey, this is all what we're doing. What do you think?" Yeah, that's really cool. And then maybe offer some suggestions. That's probably
Pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah, I just, you know what, to me though, in like this continuing battle of just this mentality that mobile is the future of all gaming, it's cool to see Disney like throw up Star Wars Battlefront at D23. You know what I mean? Like things like that I think are cool. It's
And
cool to see.
maybe a new Star Wars.
Maybe.
the
We're
other
going
one,
to talk
yeah.
about that Star Wars a
They
little
dropped
more
the
later
movie
on in the
trailer
episode.
last year, right?
Oh, dude, there's going to be so many cool things coming out of D23. Man, what a cool thing to have their own Comic-Con.
What is the 23 about?
It's like Brandon would know in an instant.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a really important number to Disney fans.
Is it 1923? Like when Disney started?
Man, I can't tell you. So that happens in I think late August. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So we
Or
have that to look
mid-August,
forward
something like that.
Later mid-August. We have that to look forward to. Yeah, speaking of new Star Wars game, really cool weird news popped up this week. EA started a new studio. Jade Raymond is the head of this new studio. Let me look at the name of Motive is the name of this development studio. So Jade Raymond left Ubisoft in 2014, toward the end of 2014, and now she's at EA. And this is, let me use their words to describe what this is. This is a development studio located in Montreal, but will also oversee the Visceral studio in California. It will incubate entirely new IP, but the first project is Amy Hennig's Star Wars game. Those are two things that are very strange to me. Like, what do you think? Why did EA start Motive?
She probably approached them. I mean, she's headed up big projects and been a creative director and all of that. So I think that, yeah, it's probably like she doesn't want to move. They've got the BioWare studio up there, and she's like, let me start a team to work on some new ideas and probably pitch some things that they liked. I mean, I think it very well could all, basically be on her.
So, Blood, the phrase "work on" is actually really interesting because in the description of what Motive is, that's used frequently. We're working on the Star Wars game that Amy Hennig is doing. As far as we know, that started a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Do you think it's weird that they're working on that game at this point, or
Not
is
at
that
all.
is that
I
normal?
mean, they're in the meat of it now.
Okay.
They need all the hands that they can get probably, and they probably had a fair amount of talent up there in other studios that they could move sideways to get to work on that project and kind of share the load a little bit, kind of push it. I mean, maybe they weren't quite on schedule that they liked, and they wanted to put a little bit more behind it to get it to push to come out closer to the movies.
I suspect it might be something like
Something like that. You
Yeah.
never know. But they don't need to tell you that, right? They just like, hey, new studio, this is exciting. Person you might know working on it. There you go.
Yeah.
Quick fact interjection. if
Ooh,
you
here we
forgive
go. I'd love these.
The D stands for Disney, obviously. The
Okay.
23, as Brad guessed, represents 1923, the year that Walt Disney arrived in California and founded what was to ultimately become the Walt Disney Company.
Wow.
Very cool.
And then in the description after that, it just says yes.
What?
And then it says
what
currently
description?
D3. It's just I googled it. And it's just funny. I'm sure it's like,
Okay.
I'm sure it's like a Q&A.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
But right
All right.
here it just says
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I think is pretty funny.
Yes.
Anyway,
So do we give Brad a star for that, or that's not star worthy?
we take Jones's star away and give it to Brad.
Cool.
Brad is in the Jones seat. Any points he gets today are all for
Oh,
Jones.
but it's Brad specific though.
It's only for when Brad is in Jones's
Yeah.
seat that he can use the star.
But Jones would have known that from the start.
Well, Jones
that's
is
he's not here.
That's true. Brad, you get some points though. That was pretty cool. What is cool to me about EA starting a new development studio led by Jade Raymond, with at least most of its focus supposed to be on developing new IP, is that EA for a long time has not been very focused on developing new IP, at least on a large scale. You know, it's been a while basically.
Yeah.
I think the last time they did was that Mirror's Edge year, and then they kind of said, okay, we're not going to do stuff. We lost a lot of money. We're not going to do stuff like that anymore. Dead Space was that year as well, I think. So do you think this is cool to see EA again committing to new IP?
It doesn't seem that new. I mean, it kind of feels like only yesterday when we were being told about this new thing called Mass Effect. And
That feels like yesterday to you?
A little bit.
That was a long time ago.
That's a long time
What?
ago.
They're
No.
also doing Unravel this year too, which was really surprising.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I suspect things coming out of Motive will be more on the Mass Effect,
Right.
or at least Mirror's Edge scale. than-
Yeah, I think a Dead Space scale, which is interesting that
Yeah.
they're aligning with Visceral because Visceral did Dead Space.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that they recognize that they need a team that can consistently be coming up with fresh ideas, even if they end up ultimately moving on to other teams to develop them. And I think that seems to be what this studio is about creating those ideas that can actually hit mass market.
That's pretty cool. That's a neat idea for a studio. You mean that's like more of like a creative side
Yeah.
than just like the hard programmers? I mean, yeah, it's funny. It's not clear. I mean, the end of Jade Raymond's like write-up of what Motive is about ends with, of course, like apply here. So I think they're obviously very early. They're trying to recruit. They're trying to get people on. And so yeah, I think it'll be a while till we see anything from them. But yeah, it's cool for EA to put money back into new stuff.
Yeah. And I would expect that sort of scale stuff from them. You guys are right on it. You know, the new Mass Effect or the new Dragon Age or the new big franchise that you kind of, not necessarily BioWare, of course, but you know, something to that scale they can kind of kick started.
Well, BioWare pulled it off. You know what I mean? Like BioWare, those two franchises are still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, they're to the point now where, you know, they're getting some of their core fans that are just like, do you want to check out the new one? I don't know. I think I've got what I need from it or whatever. So.
You mean well, I think Dragon Age Inquisition sold like crazy though, didn't it?
Yeah, I think Dragon Age Inquisition got a lot of new fans that weren't interested in the past games.
Yeah.
When you hit your like fourth or fifth game traditionally in a franchise, that's where you start to like, it's been a long time since your first one, so maybe your core fans are moving on or something like that. So you either reinvent it or just keep doing the same thing and let it run into the ground. So they need a new big thing.
Yeah.
To run in parallel with this other stuff.
Big things are scary though, and that's why I think it's so cool to see a publisher commit to big things.
Yeah. Well, and we won't see this new big thing for 2.5, 3 years. So.
Yeah. We won't see the teaser trailer for 2.5 years. Yeah. That's exciting nonetheless. And of course, Amy Hennig's Star Wars game, I'm so pumped for with like no information. This just makes me more excited for a game I can't even imagine.
I thought they said it was gonna be like an Uncharted kind of game.
That was that's funny you bring that up. That was Nolan North during a Q&A saying things that he shouldn't be talking about. It was very funny. He's like, I've seen it. It's really cool. It's like got some Uncharted vibes. It's like, no, it's just not.
So we need to go talk to him, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, we do. We can expect Uncharted-esque. And I mean, Star Wars 1515? 1313. Why laugh? Why is the number 1313 so much clearer than 1515?
It was a big deal, Kyle.
Oh my gosh. All
I
right.
think Coruscant goes down that deep, man. Come on.
Is it almost entirely a gas planet? Anybody who's nerdier
No,
than
it's
me
entirely machine.
I know, but they built it around something, and I don't remember if the Coruscant's like a planet or just like.
To my understanding, I mean, this could be wrong, but to my understanding, Coruscant is almost entirely city at this point. Like,
Yeah.
they've built down so much that the whole planet is more machine than planet.
Right.
Like Darth
Darth
Vader.
Vader.
More machine than man.
Yeah.
More machine than man.
Oh man, we all love Star Wars. We should move on. Dead Space 2 has lost its developer, Jaeger.
Dead Space? No.
Dead Island.
Dead Island.
Oh man.
Sort it out.
It's because I still had Dead Space on the mind. I kind of wanted to talk about, like, do you think Dead Space can be revived or not? And like, I don't like to have those conversations. It absolutely can.
Yes,
it
it
totally
can.
can.
Comes back from the
Space
dead.
sucks.
Dead Island.
3 sucks.
I feel like the lore got really weird.
It did. Yeah. I almost think it has to be a Mirror's Edge-esque reboot.
Maybe.
For a second, I thought Blood said that the Lord got really weird.
The Lord
And I was like, whoa.
the Lord gets weird.
It's happened.
Dead Island 2, of course, from Deep Silver. Deep Silver announced this week. They announced it first. Jaeger's off the project. We're taking our developer off of this project, Dead Island 2. That's pretty crazy, huh? I feel like Dead Island is really important to Deep Silver.
Were there layoffs or firings or closings of
No,
any
they
kind?
just took the code away from them.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy, Blood?
Could it be that they put them on a different project?
No. Jaeger's like, we're out. Jaeger had their own press release this week and then said, yeah, we're fine. We got Dreadnought. We have other projects we're working on. It was clearly creative differences
Okay.
from both press releases is basically what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like Deep Silver is sort of a mystery in terms of who they are and like what their identity is. Like they just seem to be just like.
It's because they're so deep, man.
It just feels like
Ew.
it just feels like a random like business decisions, and it doesn't feel like they have a style or anything to it. It's like they've got this random game and that random game, and like a couple of them have gotten popular.
Right, because they now publish. It was THQ's. It's it's the
Oh,
game.
Homefront.
Ooh, they do. They have Homefront. You're
Yeah.
right, but also
Saints Row?
Saints Row. Thank you
Right.
so much. Gosh, I'm not on it today. There's a few more sips of coffee. But yeah, so they have Saints Row. They have Homefront. Dead Island. It's worth talking about Dead Island. This is a weird. So Techland came to them with Dead Island. That was Techland's game, and they said, "Hey, we want you to or can you help us publish this?" And Deep Silver said, "Yes, but the IP is ours now." And so they
In
made
that voice.
Oh, that's why.
The Deep Silver voice. Yeah.
Yeah, that is how they. That's what I perceive them as. Techland made the expansion, the standalone expansion. I think Riptide was its name.
Yeah.
Dead Island Riptide. And then that was it. Techland was just like creative differences were out, and then they made Dying Light. Mm-hmm. And so they're good. They own Dying Light, and they're fine with that. They're happy. Deep Silver, meanwhile, made a Dead Island MOBA.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I looked this up yesterday, Blood. We were talking about this.
The
I don't
Dead
remember,
Island
I don't
MOBA in
remember the name.
particular?
It just.
It's not. No.
Yeah, and then there's Escape Dead Island.
And then
which is
Escape
really,
Dead
really bad.
Oh my god.
So, like, they tried to franchise out Dead Island, and clearly another misstep here. More creative differences with Jaeger. We were just talking about made Black Ops The Line, Spec Ops The Line.
Oh man.
Oh, no.
At least we're catching them.
No. You know what's so bad is like there's probably like a cool like brain scientist who's just like, oh no, these are serious problems I'm sensing in Kyle. He's mixing things up so bad.
I think this happened in an episode of House MD one time.
Yeah.
A guy kept switching words out, and he's like, he got so frustrated because he was trying to say a thing, and then he'd be like, rhinoceros, but he could only say like the wrong words.
Yeah.
You got that.
I got that.
Now you're
And
reminding me of.
bronchitis.
But the nice thing is that I'm not letting
I'm
it get
watching.
to me. I'm carrying it with a smile, so I'm okay. I'm
You've
not
also
getting...
got that thing where you can't feel emotions.
Yeah. So it won't
You're a
get to me.
sociopath.
It won't get to me. Anyway, though. Oh, we were talking about Jaeger. They made Spec Ops The Line, and Dreadnought looks awesome. Dreadnought, if you haven't seen a video of this, it doesn't get a lot of coverage, but it looks awesome. It's basically giant freight spaceships, cruisers, really close to the planet, just shooting lasers at each other. Like,
Cool.
you control a huge, slow spacecraft that's just like at war. Oh man, it's so cool. It's about like positioning and things.
We were actually going to cover it, and then something fell through around E3.
Oh, at E3, yeah. Were they there at E3? Maybe they just
I
had to
think they
skip
pulled
it.
out or something. Yeah.
Okay. Dreadnought, we're willing to cover it. Throw us some trailers. It's a cool looking game. So yeah, do you think this is like? Do you think Deep Silver has problems?
Yes.
Management problems?
Yeah.
Kind of sounds that way, huh?
It seems like the evidence is stacking up. It seems like they got some issues they need to sort out.
Maybe, or maybe they just, maybe they had some good ideas they wanted to pursue and then just didn't vibe well with other companies, and so they want to concentrate. Maybe they need to just concentrate on their own thing. Maybe they need to just change their outlook a little bit. It might not necessarily be an attitude problem, but clearly they do have some things to fix. So yes, I guess is the answer.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, there was a CG trailer for Dead Island 2 last E3,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2014.
Pretty good trailer.
The
too.
guy
It was a great
jogging?
trailer. I gave it a good score. Yeah, it was the guy jogging. Yeah, it had like good vibes. It was funny. It was a funny trailer. Will this just go down as another E3 CG trailer that meant nothing?
I mean, that project
Probably.
could be turned around. I mean, you've got a trailer, so if you can match the tone. I mean, the tone of the trailer for Dead Island 1,
Was so serious.
but the game didn't feel that way.
Right.
So does it matter? I mean, you could
It does
probably
matter.
make that game.
It totally matters. That's why that trailer was so good for Dead Island 2. It's like, okay, they're not going to pull that one on us again. They're going for this whole different thing.
Sure, and maybe they can find a way to actually match the tone of their really good trailer.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a good thing. I mean, they
I don't
pulled
know,
out
man.
because they just didn't want it to happen the way it was happening, right? So maybe that's a chance to just make it happen the way they want now.
Yeah. I wonder if like Jaeger wasn't making that game of the CG trailer or something. I wonder if they'll still execute on that. That's all we got. We're just going to look
Yeah.
at this for Dead Island 2 for another couple of years. We can move on. Let's go. Basically, Water Cooler Ranch. I'm really excited about this one. We don't do Water Cooler Ranch very often. What this is a segment in which we're talking about something in the office, and I say, oh, we should talk about this on the show. Save it for the show. So here's what we're talking about Water Cooler Ranch this week. Tembo the Badass Elephant. And the question is, should badass be in the title for Tembo the Badass Elephant? Because Bloodworth came out and said, hey, I think this game would do better if it didn't have that word there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if it didn't have that, but the thing is, I'm playing for review. I can't really say much about it, but I will say that like, it doesn't have anything in it to me that seems like it will justify this
Badass?
word. Like,
The Rambo Elephant.
But I'm just saying, like, it's rated T for teen, and I think the only reason it's rated T for teen is because of this one word in the title. And it's just, to me, it's like you're cutting off any parents that would want to buy this for their kids, and they're like, I don't want my kids using that word around the house or thinking that word's okay, And like I even talked to friends last night that have kids, and like, yeah, I wouldn't buy that for my kids.
You know what's really funny though is, so I've got a weird language limit when I'm in front of camera. Badass is a word I'm okay with throwing around. I think that word
That's
is
Borderlands' fault.
It's definitely Borderland. Yeah.
There's a
Borderland.
spectrum, though. There's that spectrum. There's the higher extreme, which is pretty much where I live all the time, and then there's
Yeah.
the lower extreme, and you're kind of somewhere towards the lower, and Blood's a little bit lower than you. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, there are definitely going to be parents. I think not as many these days as say like 10 years ago that will not buy it for their kids. I think there's a lot more people, especially now that every 4-year-old has its own iPhone. Badass is a lot less powerful these days. I would say that if you made this argument 10 years ago, I'd agree with you. These
gotta
days,
say,
it doesn't matter.
Here's what I love about it. This is Game Freak. This is a studio that normally just has to make Pokemon games.
Yeah.
And for them to just like have the freedom to call a
Yeah.
game badass, I think is kind of
That's
part of
cool.
it. I think they don't care if children don't buy this game.
I think they definitely, like, the fact that they have the freedom to do it, and it feels good to just put that in the name and put that out there, like their creative freedom,
Yeah.
perfect. Leave it that way. If they want to take the name out of it to sell more copies to younger kids, then that's their prerogative. But they didn't. They just
To me,
put it in
to
there.
me, it's not about an age thing though. Too, it's like having badass in the title. To me, makes it seem like, oh, these guys think they're way too cool.
Whoa,
so it
really?
like makes me not interested. I'm
It's
like,
having
oh,
the
they're
reverse
trying
effect.
to be cool. So I'm like, to me, it's like, nah.
Wow.
I don't think that at all.
Brad, where do you stand?
I think they're just having fun with the name.
Okay, this is another new stance. We're
Yeah.
good. We got a lot of opinions
I don't think
here.
they're trying to be cool or anything. They're just having a great time with this game. Look at this game. What is having a blast?
To people who are like listening and have never heard of this game before, like what looks good about it? What do you like
are
about it?
an elephant, an American hero, going in, saving hostages, beating up bad guys.
Well, they describe him-
Wait. Are you actually? Is it established that you're an American hero?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it's America, but yeah, it's Shell City.
Tembo is
Yeah.
a hero.
Yeah. Because it's cool. The cutscenes there's no words in them still, right? I don't know how far in the game you are. Well, actually, we can't talk about that, but we can talk about the preview anyway, in which the cutscenes were just like animated comics with no dialogue. And everything was communicated through that. And yeah, the Tembo was like, he was free, he was retired, and then he gets called back into action.
Yeah. It's like
Tembo.
saluting with his trunk and everything.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, they do use the word commando, and I'm like, commando would be great. I mean, that sells what you're trying to get across.
Tembo the Commando Elephant.
Yeah. Or
It
Tembo
doesn't have that
Elephant Special
same-
Forces.
But it kind of rhymes, Tembo the Commando Elephant.
I think it seems like a play to just kind of make it very unique. Like when you hear the name, you know exactly what it is. It's that game where you're an elephant and he's a badass. Like just that simple word association. Just name it that, get it out the door, because it's a very unique game. You don't play as a badass elephant in another game that has a different name. It's not a genre.
The
right?
sequel should be called like Commander Tembo Disavowed or something
Yeah.
like that. And he has to like get his honor back.
Yeah, maybe. Something big would have to happen for Tembo to
Yeah.
lose his honor.
Yeah.
That would be a big thing.
Well,
He
it's
defects.
a frame job. It's like what happens to Tom Cruise in every Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, some mouse frames him.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Mouse is perfect.
His
Yeah.
nemesis.
Yeah.
They came up together through the ranks of the animal military,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was always jealous of Tembo, and so he frames him for something. But he's not really like inherently a bad dude either. You know, he's
Oh, the
just
mouse?
misunderstood. Yeah.
No, he's bad dude.
No,
It's a bad man.
No. He's done bad things.
Yes.
But he's not inherently evil.
Sure.
It makes him more complex.
Bingy is the mouse's name.
Bingy.
Bingy.
And Tembo, they're like brothers, man.
Well, I think Tembo is always a little afraid of Bingy.
Oh yeah,
Uneasy alliance. as
Uneasy
Mike likes to
alliance.
it's
say.
an uneasy alliance.
Before we move on, I do want to I feel like Tembo in his actions, in the actual playing of this game, does earn badass. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're charging forward blood, when you're doing slams, I feel like you do feel like you're playing as a badass. He's a truck.
Right.
It's a wrecking shop.
Yeah, to me it's a good descriptor because it actually describes this game you're playing. Whereas Commando, I feel like is a little more ambiguous. What does a Commando play like?
Well, we just haven't used that word in a long time. But if they put it into a title of a game, I think it would be remotely effective. It's just badass puts that weird little attitude twinge on it, which
He doesn't
is
wear underpants.
also true.
Commando.
Popularized by friends.
He's got a belt, though.
I mean, maybe that would
Is that true?
works for you. It doesn't work for Ian. That's fine.
Popularized by friends?
No, I feel like anytime you put a thing in Friends, it just solidifies it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it exists before. Like those
It's
writers
in the
that had come up with it.
vernacular now.
Yeah. It's official now. And now badass is also official.
Lock it in.
Yeah.
Lock it in. Okay. So
You know, it's like how cable TV, like now you can say the SH word on regular cable.
Isn't it like after 9 p.m. or something? Or
well,
is that
now
rule
it's
gone?
just like like on FX, they just say shit constantly.
Like all the time?
Yeah, oh yeah. Like back in 2011, I'm watching Justified right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were saying shit every episode, like 3 times.
But that aired
And
at like 10
now
or
it's-
something. I
Well,
think.
yeah, but like it's like okay on mainstream. Careful there, Bossman.
Yep. Sorry about that, sorry, listeners.
I just wonder how long until like swearing just isn't a thing anymore.
I was watching Sesame Street, and Bernie called Bert.
Bert and Ernie. Oh
Bert
my
and
god.
This is it, man. We gotta call Dr.
You've
House.
got Alzheimer's or something.
We
You
gotta
are
call
losing
Dr.
it.
House.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's
Hugh
gotta solve
Laurie,
this.
Stop playing sweet jazz piano and come diagnose my
Is that what he
friend.
does now?
Dude, he's like a
He's
very
really
good.
good.
That's why he plays music all the time in House. He's an extraordinary musician.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
And so
really
he's
good.
set. He had his show that had
He
5
did that,
seasons.
he did that in the
Man.
past, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like a bit of Fry and Laurie. He plays music in that all the time. He's a glorious human being.
Ernie called Bert a ridiculous bastard.
Whoa.
Whoa,
Yeah,
really?
on Sesame
Oh.
Street.
Kidding me?
That was real. Yeah, that was
That
on.
I would
That can't
not be
be
happy
real.
about
Pushing the
that.
envelope.
That
Yeah.
cannot be real.
Yeah, I was on TV too. I wasn't even like on YouTube.
Why would that ever happen?
They were having a fight.
A ridiculous
What?
bastard?
Was it about how words can hurt people or something like that?
No. It was about like counting.
Oh, counting? With like
You're
the count?
joking. This is a troll.
This
He's
is a
joking.
complete lie.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to what you're the one who
Why you
started
happy
this
for a
conversation. You're the one to start this conversation. Going back to Boston Shawnee D, who I think we've answered more of his suggestions than anyone. Shawnee D,
Is that your roommate or something?
No, just a frequent commenter. It's funny. His avatar right now is Shadow the Hedgehog, which I think means he lost another avatar bet recently.
Bossman, do you have a roommate?
No.
Bossman
Solo.
lives alone.
Yeah.
That's why no one corrects his irritating behavioral quirks.
Wow.
Anyway.
Who's your roommate?
My roommate?
Oh, we know your roommate.
Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Omar.
Omar doesn't speak to me.
Omar is slacking.
Omar doesn't speak to me.
Omar just
Oh,
gave
I
up.
finally get
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you're
we
trying to
get
go
it.
there.
We
I
get
like
it.
that. That's
We
nice.
get it.
I like that.
Meg needs to step her job up.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Wow.
This is a spicy episode. We gotta
I
do.
appreciated it.
We have a vibe shift we gotta do though, because of course, other news this week that we didn't talk about was the death of Satoru Iwata, president and CEO of Nintendo. Right, heavy stuff to talk about. But Boston Shawnee D wants us to share our favorite Iwata moment or project.
I can go.
Let's go. Let's go, Matt Blair.
I love his consistency all throughout like the appearances, and he ramped up and got a little braver as we went along. Of course, we saw the latest like puppet video from E3 or whatever. But my personal favorite, I could not stop laughing pretty much the whole day when they released the Smash trailer
Sure.
with him and Reggie fighting and stuff. Like, granted, I'm sure they used the double for some of that flip stuff, but he just owned it. He sold it. Reggie did too, of course, but. I love that you see a CEO of the company getting all in on a game, not like the system, not the brand, just one game that they're making for their system. That to me was kind of the essence of Nintendo, where it's like, yeah, we make systems and we want you to buy the systems, but we really love making games. And here's the CEO of this company responsible for all of these things, getting super excited to do like this crazy trailer for a game. It was really cool. If you have, I mean, who didn't see it? But if you didn't see it, like it's him and Reggie kind of squaring off in real life, and then they get, like, they're doing crazy flips and throwing like powers at each other and stuff like that, making funny faces, and then they cut to the game where you can see like their Miis fighting each other and stuff.
But what I really like about it, Matt, and you're right, is like they're not being like your camp counselors doing a skit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not like winking at us. They are all in, especially Iwata during that scene.
Yeah.
Like he is making every expression an anime character would make. He's embracing it entirely with everything.
Somebody directed them. He took direction. And they made it look awesome.
Yeah.
And that like just the fact that they ended with a product of that means that he had a great attitude about it, and I love that. I love it, and I'll miss it.
That's a great pick. Blood, what's your favorite project? Also, is what Shawnee D said, which I think is interesting. Moment or project?
I'm going to riff off of Chris Kohler's article this morning, which was really good over at Wired if you guys want to check it out. But just the whole, the blue ocean mentality and the direction with the DS and the Wii, and just that conviction that, you know, hey, we're selling video games to the same people over and over again, and if we really like want to, you know, broaden the market and like have respect from everybody, we need to be able to reach out to different audiences and give them a different way to play. And the kind of the weird thing is, you know, with the touchscreen, you know, like when it came out, everyone thought it was gimmicky. It was like really weird, you know, and then with, you know, more and more stuff like Brain Age, they actually managed to do that. You know, they actually managed to get old people to pick up DSs. And it's strange now because in a way, like they created a market that moved on. It's like now that's all being done on phones. Like people are playing, you know, touchscreen games on their phones, and those expanded market doesn't care about picking up a DS.
Yeah.
But they paved the way for that, and so I think that's, you know, really interesting that it, you know, gaming has a bigger space in people's minds.
Do you remember when he started calling it Blue Ocean? I feel like that was around the time of the Wii, right?
I think that probably was in the midst of that, because those both were in development around the same time.
It was funny. I actually, I always like. I think it all made us a little nervous hearing Blue Ocean, things like that, because it's just like, wait, what about us, the true video game fans? But you know, obviously, the video game fans were still treated with the Blue Ocean with this wide swath. I think that was cool. That's a good one, Blood. Brad, what's your favorite moment or project?
Favorite moments, I'm gonna do both.
Whoa.
Favorite moments is Nintendo seemed like they're always having fun. And they were just goofy, and I really liked that about them. Like, the puppets was amazing at E3.
Yeah.
Like, Nintendo does a lot of stuff that makes me not happy with them, because I love Nintendo. Started playing games because of Nintendo.
Right.
But I really liked when they were just having fun. That made me excited for Nintendo when they do stuff like that. Game-wise, Kirby's Dream Land.
And that's the
on Game Boy.
Game Boy one.
On the original Game Boy.
One. Yeah.
I remember sitting at the dinner table with my family and just playing Kirby.
And they didn't yell at you? What are you doing?
No, my mom was like, can you stop playing that? I'm like, I'm fighting the tree. I got to finish it, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I always smile when I think about that game.
Yeah.
And we were looking at it, and Kirby used to be white, which was interesting to me.
In the U.S.
On the box art,
Yeah.
Nintendo of America made him white because they didn't think we could play a pink character. How funny is that?
They were wrong.
They were so wrong.
Dead wrong.
They were so wrong. That is cool, though, Brad, because, like, that franchise started on Game Boy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's just like, oh, there's something here. There's not a lot of...
Supporting their devices since the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? Here's this new handheld system. Well, we need a new IP for this. Like, we need to sell these things.
And it was cool. I watched, like, obviously a lot of interviews with Iwata afterward. But it was interesting him talking about the creation of Kirby because it was... team, you know, it was the team making that. He said, not everybody can be Miyamoto. Like, we all worked on this together. We all created Kirby together, and that's what I thought was pretty awesome. Is because, that is the case for most people, is that creativity is collaborative.
Did you actually say that? Like, not everybody can be Miyamoto?
Yeah,
like
he
paying
did.
the respect.
Yeah.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Well, he's a good guy.
I guess my favorite project is the DS. Because just like... I remember when the DS was announced, I thought, this thing looks so stupid.
Well, the original one we played at E3 did look really stupid.
It did. And there were rumors in magazines, like EGM ahead of time had like this rumor that's just like, oh, Nintendo's next handheld is going to have 2 screens. And I was like, oh boy. And then the original prototype looks ridiculous. It's big and stupid and blocky. But even, honestly, the thing that launched is big and stupid and blocky.
Yeah, it has that dumb thumb thing or the finger attachment you put on it so you can use the touchscreen.
That's worth talking about. Yeah, you had to have, like...
God, that was bad.
It's like a jock strap for your thumb.
Yeah.
And it has, like, a little plastic nub, and that was to control Mario
No
64.
one wants to play Mario like that.
Yeah, and
I never did buy that version. I've never played that version of it, just for that reason. Like, that was a bad idea.
Right. But somehow that thing succeeded. This touchscreen, this 2-screen
I think the
console.
DS Lite helped a lot with that.
Sure, yeah.
That's when I got one.
But like I think more than anything, the software helped with it.
Oh my god, so many good games.
I played a ton of Brain Age, this Blue Ocean game that I swore I would never like. I got way into it. Eventually, like, you get too good at it, and then you're just like, you're not really learning anymore.
Yeah,
but
cool.
it's yeah, exactly. Smug Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is, Brain Age I freaking loved. And Nintendogs I never loved, but I mean, that was another thing that just propelled it forward.
Absolutely.
That, like, so,
and again, like that, not being afraid of something that might by some people not be considered a game, you know, like I love Electroplankton, you know, and that's just like
I remember
a music sequencer basically, but with like little fish creatures. So
yeah, how much bravery does it take to suggest new products that are just out of this world and crazy, and then just allow yourself the time to experiment and make it better and improve it. It is kind of strange to take a look like that on the DS when we make fun of it every once in a while for having a new version every year and a half, and, you know, quote unquote making us pay for it again or whatever just because it's only so much better, but you really want this. But how many people did they actually turn around with all of the different concepts, you know, from the DS to the Wii to all the crazy new things that we have? Using them in one way or another is almost always fun.
Yeah. It is to me like devastating to have this conversation now where it's like in a dip, you know what I mean? Where it feels like those people left and just are all on their phones now. It definitely feels weird. It sucks. I'm still hurting a little bit, but you know, there's oh god, just like the thing that I freaking love here, and there's another interview I just heard afterward was Iwata talking about graduating and saying like, oh, I'm just gonna go with these other 4 guys. We're gonna make HAL Labs, and his dad being furious, not talking to him for 6 months because that is so stupid. Hey, we're gonna go make computer games. And she's like, what are you doing? That's the worst thing you could do with your career. But like his whole life, he's been so sure of his future that he's just like, no, I'm doing this and it's going to work. And with the DS, it totally did. With the Wii, it did. This stupid thing where your dad would not talk to you for 6 months, and he's just like, no, this is going to work.
Look at me, Dad, swimming in money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So many people see him like for how like his public face for the last few years, but it's crazy to think he is like that much of an inspiration if you really dig down.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Great. Thank you, Boston Shawnee D. There is actually another comment from last week that I thought was insightful. I like this comment, so I plucked this. This is from Fry5. Hey, Kyle. We Mexicans, or Latinos in general, are fairly loud for the most part. I don't think it is an inaccurate stereotype, again, generalizing. You don't have to interpret or label every comment that speaks about a group of people or race as racism, or sexism for that matter. Race exists, and racially influenced culture, like banda music, loudness, parties, etc., exist. You don't have to pretend like it doesn't. We can defend ourselves too, you know. It's appreciated, though. I think being so picky and easily agitated by such minor things detracts from true, impactful, detrimental racism issues like discrimination, violence, segregation. Just my 2 cents. Great show, as always. That was a cool comment.
Whoa. He is correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, he is correct.
He is absolutely correct.
All right, so Blood, I'm sorry for calling you racist last week.
That happened?
Yeah.
But I mean, we are a bunch of white people, so
That's not our fault.
No,
I mean,
it's a crazy new world where it's like, yeah, we are. Some of us are different colors. Big deal.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid of the fact. It's fine.
Mexicans like to party loud.
Sure.
right. But I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like if you had said that, if you just been like, nah, Mexicans are loud. It's a fact.
Yeah.
That would have been problematic, probably.
Yeah. I mean,
don't know.
I've actually known quite a few Mexicans who are like actually very quiet and meek. And like you start talking to them and they open up and it's like, you did what? That's amazing. How come you're not talking about this stuff more?
No, what did they do where you said you did what?
No, I just have a friend who like organized like this whole huge event and like, no, she's just like really,
What was the event?
Huh?
What was the event?
It was actually about like Mexican American culture and stuff. But anyways, it was when she was in college. But she just seemed like someone who's just very happy to just do whatever she needs to do to help out. And it's like, oh, that's great. It's like I didn't realize you had that in you. And so, but again, just humble, meek person.
Yeah, I do want to say though that when Brandon said all Asians like to go camping, that did seem racist.
What?
Did he say that?
On GT time.
First of
all
all,
people are all things, like people do whatever they want. It doesn't matter.
I'm exaggerating. I'm giving a
it's
hard time.
overly declarative, but nowhere near racist. You need to learn from this comment. What was his name?
That was Fry5.
Fry5.
Yeah.
Teaching us.
Yeah, that was cool.
Remember
Words of wisdom,
Fry5.
Fry.
That was a great comment.
Because that
I
is
really
a
appreciate it.
perfect comment. Everybody needs to remember that point.
Let's
My
do bets.
thing is like if someone's playing loud ass music under my house for 9 hours, it's annoying.
Yeah.
That person is annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
Next week, Hot to Full Boyfriend comes to PS4 and Vita. Here's what we're going to do. On the PlayStation Store, which version of the game will have the most ratings and by how many? Okay, so actually it's Blood. It's your turn, sorry. Blood,
My turn to
your
start.
turn to go first. Yep.
All right.
What's your bet?
I'm going to go PS4 by 30.
Oh my god, I'm so mad about that bet. Oh, that's a good bet. All right, Brad, what did you bet?
PS4 by 100.
Okay. Oh, I'm out then. Okay, so I bet PS4 by 300.
Whoa, no.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a lot of ratings.
Wow, all right. Matt Blair.
PS4 by 356 with the little loopy colored in.
Oh,
You are
Matt
screwed.
Blair. How dare you? All right, let me lock those in. How dare you? That's why we write these down. That's what makes that so fun.
That was awesome.
Oh my gosh, Matt Blair.
I'll leave that there.
Okay, so
Uh-oh.
last week's bet, Rory McIlroy came out this week. I looked at the top 10 most recent reviews, 5 for PS4, 5 for Xbox One. How many mentions of Tiger Woods would we see? Brad, you were in the Super Seat last week, actually. You bet 9. Bloodworth bet 12. Elise bet 5 for Jones, and I bet 10. Okay, so this was actually really fun. This was interesting. I'll lead everyone through it, actually, how the actual counting went down. So I started with the PS4. The first 2 reviews, 0 Tiger Woods.
Whoa.
I was like, uh-oh, Elise is going to win this. The next one had 2. The next review had 4 mentions of Tiger Woods, and the next review had 3. Keep in mind, this bet, you had to say Tiger Woods together, the full name, and still that person had 4 mentions of Tiger Woods in that review.
Why would you say the word tiger or, well, Woods, I guess, if you hit the
Woods. You would say Woods the second time. That's how you do writing. Oh my gosh. And then Xbox One, we had 1, another 4 mentioned, 0, 1, and then 0. We had 15 Tiger Woodses. Blood takes the bet.
Damn.
And
I couldn't believe that.
He's
So
running away with it.
what's funny is like half of them had 0 or 1, or more than half. Most of the reviews had 0 or 1, but it's those 3s and those 4s that like really toppled it over.
I think it's because they introduced that infidelity mechanic into the game.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No.
DLC.
Oh, why?
Why not?
Ian, how dare you, you ridiculous bastard. So now...
Callbacks, I get it.
Now,
I called it out.
Super Seat has 9, Bloodworth has 11, Jones has 3 with a star, and I have 6 points. That's our total.
You think we should take a point away from Jones for submitting his answer in Spanish?
I thought it was Elise.
No, it was Elise.
But I see what you're saying. She
She
was
just
in the
said
Jones
5,
seat.
didn't she?
She said 5, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because we were being all racist last week.
We were.
Talking about how people are different and have cultures.
Yeah, which we learned is not racism. Blood, with your point, you also get to promote any video on our website and also sign us off with your unique catchphrase.
Promote a rewatch of this video.
No one's done that
No one would
before.
see that coming.
Rewatch this video.
no, that's all right. I'll promote the Until Dawn preview that I worked on with Elise, which meaning she did most of the work. I just kind of threw ideas at her.
What is that?
What's that?
The preview, what is it?
It's 6 things to know about Until Dawn, and so she played the game. We had a preview built in. She played through it, and she kind of did 6 bite-sized bullet points, and then I forced her to stand in front of the camera with the flashlight.
Yeah,
So-
but that's what's unique about it. Is she hosts it, and it's like full of Elise jokes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good. It's a good little preview, and informative at the same time.
yeah, and it also pitches out to something that we'll be doing hopefully next month. Yeah, so
Cool. When that game releases.
yeah, yeah, so I think that's real fun. So check that out, and my Twitter handle is DBloodworth2. I'm gonna go the other way. Matt Blair,
Mattias14.
Ian Hink.
It's just Ian Hink.
I'm just at Kyle Bossman.
Bradley Ellis, 87.
Yeah. So, and we'll see you before the next blood moon rises. Have a good week.
I gotta say, that's one of the best catchphrases. That's a really good one.
Blood moon rises.
Yeah.
I love.